just to make sure you have everything written down before we start. As we go through each one of the speakers, I will give you approximately about a minute for the judges to make all your marks and tally everything that you need on your ballot. So are we ready to get started? Are we ready to get started? All right, well, let's bring up our first speaker today. Ms. Denisha Richardson. She will be speaking. I see it moving over here. Yep. You want to just use, well, no, because they need to see the timer too. Ken? Yeah. Still need the bill. Well. As we get started, I want to introduce Denisha Richardson that will be speaking on BFAT, Fierce, Amazing, Among Thousands.
All right. We can do better than that. Come on.
Cupid, January 2nd, 2007. Time for a change. King of swing out, baby. January 2nd, 2007. Down, do your dance, do the Cupid dance. Down, do your dance, do your dance. Down, do your dance, do your dance. We got a brand new dance. Down, do your dance, do your dance. New style, down, do your dance. We got a brand new dance. Down, do your dance. Oh, new style, down, do your dance, do your dance. Now let me down, do your dance, do your dance. New style, yeah. They say I'm a rapper, and I say no. Don't say what you doing, trying to do somebody cold. I just let the music come from my soul, so all of my people can stay on the floor. They got a brand new dance.
All right. Did y'all enjoy that? All right. We all know that we are now fat, right? I'm so out of breath. Now give yourselves a hand for being fat. We are fine. We are fierce among thousands, okay? All right. And I would just like to share with you all, I am really tired. Just a couple of things. All of my life I had struggled with my weight. I was often called pudgy, or in my family we were called fluffy. And so, but have you ever heard of the term from the mouths of babes? Y'all have heard of that? Okay. Well, when I was younger, my parents told me that, well, let me first tell you all that I am a musician. You know, I play the piano now. And when I was a child, my parents told me that. I went up to this lady, and, you know, she was playing the piano, and she was fairly overweight. And I went up to her, and I was like, tapped her on her shoulder. And I went up to her, and I was like, woman, you fat, you know? And I was like, and well, I didn't know any better from the mouths of babes. I didn't know any better. And so, of course, my mom and dad, they snatched me up and they apologized to the lady and they scolded me. And so then, as a teen, you know, we were often faced with self-image issues and anorexia. That was popular, you know. And then as a college student, talk about karma. I gained the freshman 15 and the college 50. I gained 50 pounds in college. Can everybody say, wow? Wow, 50 pounds. Okay, so the piano lady, it was reversed. You know, I was then the piano lady because I had a lady to actually go to one of my friends, and she was like, Tanisha loves to eat, doesn't she? And I was like, wow, you know, and my friend came back and told me that. And of course that did hurt. And there I was, the fluffy, you know, pudgy piano lady then, okay? So it came back. And so as a young adult, I went on the yo-yo diets and got a couple of gym memberships, really striving and trying to get it together. So I finally got it. I finally got it now. You know, after all of those years, I finally got it. And so we look at this, society has changed. Then we were more active. The televisions were bigger back then and we were smaller, but now the televisions are smaller and we've gotten bigger. And I would like to acknowledge, this is a comic that was taken. This is not an original for me, but this was a comic, okay? And we know the facts that Arkansas is named the 9th most obese state in the country. We were ranked 9th among adults and 7th among children. And also, we underestimate the amount of food that we eat daily. And so can everybody, we all heard the term, thank God for Mississippi. So let's say thank goodness for Mississippi, because we're now not, you know, one of the most unhealthiest states in the country. But then again, I was mentioning as far as how we underestimate the amount of food that we actually eat. A lot of times we think that going to a buffet is overeating. You know, but it's actually the amount of food that we eat throughout the day and not being physically active. Okay, and we have too much of this. These are some of my favorite photos. We had the person walking the dog is actually driving the dog instead of walking the dog. You know, video games, fast food. And my favorite one is the fitness down there. There's an escalator, if you all cannot see that, an escalator going up to the gym. Okay, I mean, like, really. And not enough of this. We don't have enough physical activity, you know, among the kids, family time, or even healthy eating. But we can make a difference through policy systems and environmental changes, obtaining support from key stakeholders, you know, implementing policies and refurbishing playgrounds. And these are some of the things that have been done already. And also just make a personal commitment. We encourage you to make a personal commitment. I did that. Okay, and I encourage you all to do the same. Okay, this is me then. Can everybody say, wow? Wow. I mean, like, yeah, it won't hurt my feelings. Really say, wow. I mean, yeah. That was me about 2 years ago. Yeah, and I was like, wow, really? Yeah, that's me. That's me, yeah. Doesn't look like me, does it? Kind of, yeah, sort of, in the face. Okay, well, we're going to move on. Okay, but after this, you know, after eating healthy, a little motivation for my daughter. Okay, remember I was that young little girl, went up to the lady, you know, and said, lady, you're fat. Well, she hasn't told me, you know, mommy, you're fat, but there have been times that she saw me, you know, and she was like, oh, mommy. Oh, you know, and your tummy, you know, and I'm like, she's way young to be even noticing these things. And so she's like, oh, mommy, tummy. And she starts laughing. And so, yeah, she has been my motivation. Okay? And so after this, after eating healthy and my daughter, this is me now. And I've always wanted to do this, y'all, but I feel so great, you know. I've always wanted to do that, you know. Okay, I have lost a total of 37 pounds and dropped 4 dress sizes. This was at 18 and this is a 12, you know. And so if I can do it, you all can too, okay? So, as we return to work or attend our meetings, wouldn't this be nice? And I took this as well. It says, if I have to be at these boring meetings, I might as well get something out of it. So this is one creative way of exercising while we're here at work. All right, so let us be fat, let us be fine, fierce among thousands, and enjoy the rest of the day. I hope you all enjoyed this. Thank you.
I'm going to give the judges a few minutes to complete your ballots there regarding that speech. I mean, we all know that was humorous because y'all saw me up there trying to do it. Anybody's hopes besides mine crushed this weekend? Who watched the U.S. Open yesterday? That's one positive thing we can say. Do the judges need any additional time? Phone is this? If we have a phone, let's try to place it on vibrate. That we don't need any additional time, we'll move forward with the next speaker. We'll have Wanda Simon come up and give us her speech on Survivor.
Thank you, contest chair and fellow Toastmasters and guests. I am not a cat. However, my cat Sassy insisted that I tell you the story about one of my family's cats. So I'm going to tell you the story from the cat's standpoint. So in first person, as the cat. I hope you enjoy. Hi, my name is Blind Mama Cat. I know, that's not a politically correct name. And I wasn't born blind, and I wasn't born a mama cat. So, even though I became both later in life, where did my name come from? Did God intervene and change my name like he did Peter and Israel and Abraham and Paul and others in the Bible? I'm going to assume that he did. Yep, divine intervention in my life. I'm a tabby. Well, that's a black and gray striped cat. And I live on a farm. I don't know about cats having 9 lives or anything, but I do know my story. Boy, have I had some close calls. Looking back, they add up to one interesting life. It was scary along the way. First of all, cats are known for their good eyesight. So since I'm blind, you could imagine that the other reindeer, I mean cats and kittens, made fun of me and wouldn't let me play in any feline games. But I compensated with good hearing and other senses. Life was good. I was blessed to have many kids. No, not baby goats. I mean children, or kittens as people refer to them. On one occasion, I gave birth to 4 kittens on the same day. My master, Mr. Joe, knew that in the wild, my kittens and I might not be able to survive. So he made a wire cage out of chicken wire. My kittens and I, whose names were Blind Mama Cat Kitten 1, Blind Mama Cat Kitten 2, Blind Mama Cat Kitten 3, and Dusty. were sleeping in our cage. We were cozy. We had a living room, a kitchen, a bathroom, a bedroom. It was all one room, but we still had little spots for each of those. Well, nearby in the barn that we stayed in was a cow and a baby calf. Can I tell you something? Compared to cats, cows are big. And one day, when Blind Mama Cat Kitten 1, Blind Mama Cat Kitten 2, Blind Mama Cat Kitten 3, and Dusty and I were asleep, the big cow decided to escape from the barn. And she stepped right on our cage with her big feet. Cage was totally destroyed. Except for the little corner where my kittens and I were asleep. That was close call number 1. Well, my kittens grew up and I grew older. One year when the snows came, so did close call number 2. See, besides my master, Mr. Joe, I had a master, Grandma, and my very favorite person, Master Wanda. One night, Grandma and Wanda were leaving the barn and walking to their house. The date was December 31st, and the snow was falling fast. Even though I couldn't see it, I could feel it hitting my fur and hear it softly hitting the ground. I was concerned that they couldn't find their way back to the house, so I went with them. They kept saying something about, get back to the barn, get back to the barn. But I knew that they needed help, so I kept following. I persisted until they were safely inside. With the snow on the ground and still falling, the sounds were all distorted. What? I was the one who got lost. I couldn't find the barn. I plodded along and plodded and plodded and plodded and plodded. And finally, I took shelter underneath a tree and continued my plodding the next day. I would meow and meow like this. Meow, 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 meow. But if a cat meows and there's nobody around to hear it, does it really make a sound? But don't worry, I found the barn again on January 30th. Yep, 1 month later and several pounds lighter. Well, I'm not done yet. Life was back to normal for a while after I recovered from my trip. Close call number 3 was out there lurking. I stayed close to the barn, but one day I thought I would venture out to the cow pasture. Big mistake. You see, I was walking along confidently and didn't know that the construction people had built a water system from the dirt road up to the top of the hill. And they had left some pipes in the ground for who knows what, and they didn't cover them up. Well, I was walking along confidently. It was my land after all, and I knew the lay of it. And all of a sudden, my foot hits nothing but air. I didn't even have time to think about the fact that I didn't remember a drop-off at this point in the barnyard before I was hit 6-inch pipe, PVC pipe, head first. Picture me, head first in a 6-inch diameter PVC pipe. It seemed like hours had passed, and I saw my life flash before me in slow motion. Wait, can something flash in slow motion? Well, anyway, the fluid was going to my head, and I said my final prayers. After all of my close calls, after almost being stepped on by a cow, after being lost for a month, other incidents like the catnip incidents, the ferocious dog incident, and others that I've forgotten about, I was about to become known as Cat Who Died in a Pipe. But wait, I hear Master Joe's footsteps. I'm being lifted out. I can breathe. Something had fallen beside me, and it turned out to be Joe's gloves. He had thrown them on the ground in order to pick them up later, and he saw my feet and tail sticking out of the ground. So you see, my life was a little scary, but when I look back, I have to laugh. I had a good life during, before, and after my close calls. Well, it's time to go hunting down by the creek. Wish me luck.
Oh, his new cats had 9 lives. Give the judges a few moments to tally their, or get their ballots filled out. Will say this though, with the humorous speeches, I saw a lot through the Republican and the Democratic convention, and I mean there was a lot of humor, and I mean I could have really drawn from that to make a humorous speech. I mean it takes a lot for somebody to say that somebody has a lot of brass. I just need any additional time. As we get ready to move into the table topics part, if we could have the table topics contestants come forward for me, please. Question night. How the judges doing? Okay. At this point, what we're going to do is ask the Sergeant of Arms to come up and escort the table topics speakers out. And, well, no. I will let you.
Try to say something, see if they can hear us.
Majida, your opinion, what do you feel is the most valued service through the
So hard actually to say the most valued, because everything that we do is really important and is really valued. I probably would think the epidemiologist department is the most important, because they are monitoring the all the diseases and all the incredible diseases that are in our nation, and they limit them and control them. And this is what we should be doing, just control the diseases all over. That's the most important, I think.
Daniel, come in. No, I'm sorry. Tony. Bailey applause as he comes to the lectern.
I'm ready.
Tony, in your opinion, what do you feel is the most valued service offered through the health department?
The most valued service offered through the health department. In my opinion, it has to be, just simply public service. We give of ourselves. We don't get paid, the most money. We could probably go somewhere and make a whole lot more money, but yet we're still here, and we provide things for people. We provide a service for people that, they couldn't get anywhere else. And most of the time, we do it with smiles on our faces. We go out of our way. We work, sometimes longer hours, even though we don't get overtime most of the time. But anyway, the public service, being there for people, in spite of what we might receive, I think we get our pay just from providing the service.
Nathaniel. Welcome Nathaniel as he comes to the lectern. Nathaniel,
Yes, sir.
your opinion, what do you feel is the most valued service offered through the health department?
Thank you, contest judge, fellow Toastmasters, guests. There's so many services that come to mind, but I would think the way we push immunization, I don't know if you consider that a service, but for me, pushing immunization, because I have children, it becomes a big deal for me. You have so many kids who have the potential of getting a communicable disease or any other thing that passes through. And if the children who are in class with these other kids don't have some immunization, then now we're talking about something getting to a point of it could become an epidemic. When I think back years ago where just measles meant death, rubella, things that we don't have to worry about now. And the fact that we push immunization shots, and for those who can't afford a doctor to pay for them to come and get the health care that they would need, it becomes a big deal for me. I think that we, as a country, don't realize what we have compared to other countries as far as the ability to just live that healthy lifestyle, to not have to worry about pesticides in water and the malaria and different things. And that just goes along with us being a beacon as far as that goes, to make sure our children and even our adults live a healthy lifestyle through the immunization process that we go through here at the health department. Thank you.
Welcome Wanda Simon as she comes to the lectern. Wanda, in your opinion, what do you feel is the most valued service offered?
Most valued service through the health department. That's a tough question because I think just about everything that the health department does is a valued service. So to pick one would be hard. Of course, I would think epidemiology is like the best part, but it's not a service. So I'd have to, some of the services are the local health units and the WIC and stuff like that. So I would have, if I had to pick a service, or you see people, what we see most of the time is people coming in to get vital record certificates. But I think the WIC program is probably the most vital service that the health department does, along with the lab. They test all kinds of samples, water and milk and different things like that. So that's pretty significant too. But so aside from epi being the number one thing that keeps the health department going, I would say that WIC and those other services are very vital and important to the health department.
Thank you. Another round of applause to all of the contestants that participated today. At this time, I will allow the Chief Judge to get with the judges and go tally the votes. RZ. Everybody, just a few more moments and we'll start the real fun part of the post contest. Also, again, to all of those that are serving in a role, please take the time to remember that you will receive credit. You just need to have your manual and have somebody do an evaluation of your actual performance in your role. Don't cheat. Yes.
Actually, though, if someone
But now you have to validate each one before they go off, right? Before they're sent off. Well, I guess we can actually go ahead and transition into the next phase while they're actually still collecting the ballots. So, do we have any volunteers of any of the contestants? Come forth and be the first. Reviews. Okay, well, we can do that. Let's have all the contestants come back up, please. Yeah, actually, I guess, Ken, can you go ahead and turn the projector off? Let's start with Wanda since you're here first. Wanda, how are you doing?
Fine, how are you, James?
I'm well, thank you, thank you. Now, tell me, how did you come up with the concept for your speech?
Well, originally I had read a story about 10 years ago that I still remembered from the internet. It was on a cat who got his head caught in the garbage disposal. And it was the story about the ordeal that the owners had to go through to get the cat out of the garbage disposal. And since it had to be substantially original, I decided I couldn't do that story. So I told a true story about one of the cats that I had growing up.
That was my next question. What is that cat, really?
It was a true story.
Blind mama cat? Nation? Same question. Same. How did you come up with the concept for your speech?
I feel that the best way to relay a message or to find humor in anything is self. And growing up, of course, it's best to make, it's good to make the best utilizing your own self. And so instead of taking it negatively, the things that I went through growing up, I just turned it into something positive. And so, so why not laugh at yourself? I mean, you know, we're fat people. You know, we're fierce, we're fine among thousands of people, and so it's good just to keep that in mind that we're beautiful people. Okay, and it's good just to, if we're going to make a joke or be humorous about something, it's best just to look at yourself.
Tony, going toward the table topics here, just if you had the opportunity to answer it again with regards to having the participation in meetings like this or being able to grow yourself, would that have been an option you'd have chosen?
Not at all. Not at all. I still believe that, you know, the best thing that we have to offer are the people that work for the department. Because so much. And you don't get, you know, all the accolades, or again, we don't get the, you know, the financial rewards that, you know, we could get in the outside world. So, I mean, the people, I mean, it's always, to me, it's always us that's, you know, the people that actually do what they do, and we have some of the smartest professional people, you know, in Little Rock, but yet we work for the state, which is not a bad thing, but, you know, we do work for the state, and we know that we could get more money, but yet we stay here because we like what we do, want to provide a good service in whatever area we might be, so.
Same question to you, Majida. Would you change anything that you said in hindsight?
Actually, probably not, because I still think the epidemic. Probably I would have added like things from us were epidemics.
Same question.
It's kind of a toss-up for me because I know what I do with testing of water for pesticide content, and there's some things that we're doing privately, some of us in third world countries, trying to get their water to the level of where we are here. We're some final testing in Dubai with some things we're trying to work on. And I'm like, okay, that's really important, but I don't think if that doesn't happen, these people have existed for centuries with having to travel miles to find clean drinking water. But the problem of these countries is still diseases that we've eradicated years ago. They're still dealing with. There's very few, I say, other than leprosy now, that we have to use MDT, multiple drug treatments, to take care of. There's things that are taken care of with a shot nowadays, and I don't think we realize how fortunate we are. If you've only been in America, once you go somewhere else, you realize how fortunate we are. So I think that is a big deal, the immunization that we do in the United States, which is what we do here. I think this really is a big deal. I wouldn't change my answer.
I have a question. Is it me? I have a question for each one of y'all to readdress. What have you benefited from being a member of Toastmasters? Personally, what have you benefited?
I have the mic, I guess I'll start. The little things of speaking where you don't really notice how often you say and ah, and if you're able to create a 7 or 8 minute speech without standing there reading it, all of us kind of know what we want to say at any given time, but we use the clutch of a podium and a speech in front of us when most of us know from our heart what we really want to say in 7 minutes. I think that's helping me develop, because I have to speak for longer periods of time. So if I can think of them as blocks of 7 or 8 minutes at a time, it's kind of changed my approach to what I know the audience is looking at as I'm standing up speaking. Little things I never would have noticed. And one of the main benefits are all of you is the multiculturalism is unbelievable for me. The things I just learned from hearing speeches from so many different people. And that's one of the main benefits for me as well.
Same question.
Same question.
Actually, you can tell, you can see me. Not shivering, not blushing. I mean, this is a real progress for me. I've been a teacher in the past for like 11 years, but speaking in public is totally evaluators or judges. So, I mean, I made a huge progress. I'm really thankful that I've joined the club, and I'm
For me, of course, meeting all of you all, you know, a lot of you all I wouldn't have met, you know, any other way, but to get to meet you all was great for me. But as far as speeches go, speech preparation, I'm a ordained Baptist preacher. So for most of you, that means I'm long-winded. Yes, I am. But here in Toastmasters, you know, I really have to, you know, to speak for 5 to 7 minutes. You know how hard that is for me? I mean, I'm looking at 30 at least, you know, and I gotta, so having to, you know, condense my, you know, my speech and really, you know, be more organized is really been a benefit. I know my congregation is going to appreciate this in a month or so. So, yeah, 7 minutes. You know, they won't know what to do with the rest of the service. So, just speech preparation has been great for me.
Toastmasters has been extremely beneficial to me because, as Nathaniel has stated, it allowed me an opportunity to really evaluate the ums and the ahs and, you just really don't realize how many times you say those things without, see, you know. But it brings it to your remembrance and increases your knowledge. And so, and as far as the networking as well, this is a great networking opportunity, and fine-tuning the skills that I have, that's been the biggest beneficial. And I'm work in progress still, so this has been great for me.
Are we out of time?
Go ahead, go ahead.
The same thing that everybody else has said is meeting people in the health department that I wouldn't have met otherwise. And it's been great doing that. And preparation it kind of focuses you on that, and you get to talk about things that you wouldn't have any other platform to talk about these things. And so that's what I find beneficial about it.
Very good, thank you. I want to give all of the contestants one more big round of applause. I do have information back from the judges. We have winners at this point. We'll start with the table topics first. There were actually 2 disqualifications. Second place, actually goes to Wanda Simon. First place for the table topics goes to Nathaniel. No. Now for the humorous speeches. There was actually 1 disqualification on it as well. That leaves the winner, Wanda Simon. Again, let's thank all of the participants and give them one more round of applause. You can be seated. I will reiterate, the actual winners are actually moving to the next level, which is the area competition, which I believe is the 22nd of September. It'll be held at the Capitol. Philip, did you want to say anything briefly on that, or? Okay. Question. With that, I will turn you back into the hands of our president for the closing remarks.
And I will echo Mr. Hurd's comments. To volunteer to be first is never easy, so I agree. You're all winners. My closing remarks here, I want to share something with you I got from our area governor. And I'm going to just go ahead and read the email she sent me because it applies to all of us here. It says, for your club to remain in good standing with Toastmasters International, you will need a minimum of 6 membership fees paid between now and October 1st. A minimum of 3 renewals out of the 6, with the remaining 3 being made up with renewals or new members paying $36. The remaining club membership should be encouraged to renew on or before October 1st as well. I may have said 6, but October 1st. It says, club presidents and treasurers, please begin to collect the $36 and registration payments online, and register payments online as soon as possible. Do not wait till the 11th hour. Any club that is not in good standing at the time of the area, division, district, or humorous and table topic speech will not participate in the contest. So we need 6 people who know we're going to be in Toastmasters again this coming year to go ahead and pay as soon as possible, or we can't even compete in what we've just prepared for. Of course, I would like everybody to pay on time, but if we don't have 6 by then, we've been told what's going to happen from that point. Okay? So I'll make sure I give this over to Barbara so she can go from there. I want to give our guests an opportunity to speak if they'd like. Go ahead and stand, and if you want to, and share your thoughts with us today. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm a person who hates standing in front of groups and speaking as much as I have to, so I echo that. It's great to just to have to calm yourself and give a speech on a regular basis. Anybody else like to say anything? Any of our visitors? Good, good, good. And like I said, we'll make sure we get their information, Gloria and everybody. If you brought somebody today, make sure you get your information to Gloria so we can follow up with them and maybe get some new members. Make sure if you look on the back of today's agenda, we see our next meeting is September 17th, and we see the roles that you've been scheduled for. If you see your name on the list as usual and you know that you won't be able to make it, our Toastmaster will be Barbara Williams that day. So make sure you contact her or somebody else so she can make an adjustment for you not being able to fulfill your role. Is there anything else we need to discuss?
Our website is
Yay.
here soon. You will see it in the next few days.
Yes, ma'am. Yes. Okay. What's the best way to describe it? Right.
A lot less so, 'cause you have to pay.
I pay for most expenses. out how we want to make it.
Me as well, Barbara. Is that a little clearer for you? No? There's nothing else to discuss. Our meeting is adjourned.